This is Bridget Rose Parada, and I play Margot Bentley in Hell House LLC Origins, the Carmichael Manor, and Lineage. And you're listening to the Don't Go Out There podcast.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We hope you enjoy the episode. All right, guys, over to the film review. This week is my pick in Mike's free-themed month, and I chose 2023's Hell House LLC Origins, the Carmichael Manor. One of the longest titles of a movie we've ever heard, but this is sneak peek. I know Brian feels the same. I'm not sure about Mike. This is my favorite of the Hell House LLC franchise. I do have one pretty close. Like, I've grown to like the original a lot more since we reviewed it. Like, I gave it a 6.25. I'm definitely a little bit higher than that now, but this one is my favorite for sure. Like, I know that it probably sounds crazy, but I like that we're not in the hotel. We're in a different place. I think the scares are better. I really like our cast too. We're working on getting an interview with Margot Bentley's actress, Bridget Rose Parada. Looking forward to that. Just deep diving on that was her acting debut, so I'm excited to talk to her about it. But I really think, like I mentioned to Steven in the original Hell House, our three main characters have great camaraderie. Like, they work well off each other, and I just really enjoy this movie. It's legitimately scary. Like, it scared me the first time I watched it. I'll let Mike describe what happened to his wife when she watched it. But Mike, you go ahead, or Brian, you go ahead. I think this movie is really good.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And, like you mentioned, when we reviewed Hell House LLC, the first one, I gave it a 5. And that doesn't really change for me because I didn't really like it that much. I mean, it was all right. But, since then, we've interviewed a ton of cast from the series, including writer-director Stephen Cognetti. He was amazing. Don'tGoOutThere.com, of course. And after watching the first one, I got curious. And I believe that I was the first one to kind of binge the rest of the franchise. Full disclosure, spoiler alert for if we do them, but I didn't care for 2 and I didn't really like 3, but I still pushed on. But then I got to Carmichael Manor. I absolutely love this one. Everything hit with me, from the story, the jump scares, the setting being, like you mentioned, away from the Abaddon. Finally, it helps that atmosphere. I think far and away my favorite in the franchise completely.
Yeah, so full disclosure, I've seen the first one, which I really liked out of this group. I like found footage typically as a genre, as long as it has a reason for recording. I won't name drop any movie that didn't. But anyway, I'm just messing with you, Brian. I've seen the second one. I don't remember it well. This movie makes me want to go back and watch the second one. Full disclosure, have not seen the third one, so I still need to watch and catch up on that. But I will tell you, out of the ones I've seen, this is my favorite one. It is. And I'm not just saying that. Like, I was not expecting to like it near as much as I did, so maybe that affects my score. But this may be one of my, this enters the top 3 of my found footage ranking. Like I really like this fucking movie. They do a great job of taking, which we'll get into, limited budget. Okay. It's a Shudder original, which is really cool that Shudder's doing that now, kind of making sequels and franchises that, giving life into franchises like that. I think the limited cast helps it a ton. Not as many people in there. The house being a new setting is awesome. That house is creepy as shit. Carmichael Manor is massive. I'd like to live there if it weren't haunted. And our characters are very interesting and dynamic, right? I mean, again, I'll save my thoughts on Margot, the character, but it is portrayed really well. And I just got to say, I love the setup of this like a true crime documentary. And I think it's because that's pretty rare that I've seen. Yeah. It's very topical, right? But I can't recall anything off the top of my head where they're filming the true crime documentary as the fictional movie.
Was piece. It? Well, Grave Encounters was kind of like that a little bit.
Guess
it was more like a show. That's true. It was more like an unsolved mystery show. That was.
I mean, that's like doing, like Ghost Hunters, right? Like that's more so with Grave Encounters. Like this is like watching a Netflix documentary or like Discovery, whatever, right? So that's how this felt. And I thought that was a very interesting take. Like we've seen some true crime podcasting movies and stuff, but nothing quite like this. And I thought that really helped it along, and using 2 people as interviewees and interview subjects, continuing to cut back to them to kind of flesh out the story, maybe make up some of the stuff that they didn't have the budget nor time to do, kind of fill in some blanks. Very small, minor nitpicks that I have. Some of the retro footage, which I'll get to, is they did the best they could, is what I'll say. I don't necessarily hate it being there, but the look of it, again, they did the best they could, I thought. But
it was that's like VHS from the 80s. So, I mean.
It looked like an
maybe
Instagram
it looked older.
I
don't know.
But okay.
It's been in a fucking clock the whole time. I mean, come on.
For the movie, I thought it was fine. I didn't love it, but I definitely didn't hate it. For me personally, I just get extremely frustrated with the dumb character decisions that we saw. And, the documentary parts took me out of the mood when they happened. And I'll get into that later. But overall, it's not bad.
I don't know if y'all have seen it, but there is another found footage horror movie. It's called Ganjam Haunted Asylum. It's it's a Japanese found footage movie. I believe it's Japanese. It might be Korean, so I apologize. I just recently watched it. But it's kind of similar to this, where they go investigate like this haunted asylum, and they live stream it all. Like they're on like YouTube and all that. Huh. It's a solid movie, but God, they don't stop screaming the whole movie. It drive you fucking nuts. But anywho, Brian, you got the scene by scene tonight. Whenever you're ready, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and during my intro, I kind of abruptly stopped because I lost my train of thought, but I got it back. And so I wanted to touch on something that you said, Nico, about it scaring you. And like that legitimately,
I forgot to.
And I've said this before, Paranormal Activity is about the only thing that ever really scared me that I've watched, like really scared me. And this one's right there, legitimately. It really did, like, oh shit, like it creeped me out, like in many, many spots. Now, overall, maybe not as much as Paranormal Activity and the subject matter and how much it bothers me. But like, as in different scenes and different, parts of it, it really did bother me as well. And like you said, the camaraderie of the 3, right on, like absolutely. Those 3 played this perfectly. It was fantastic, and I did not know that this was Margot's. God, what was the actress's name again? You just said it.
Bridget.
I just lost Bridget. Yeah, I didn't know that was her first acting movie. So she did fantastic acting job. So great job.
Nico threw it to me with a setup on a T-ball, and I forgot. I thought my wife was going to shit her pants. She watched it through her hands like this. Was not a good time for her. She's like, let's watch something spooky. And I'm like, sure, how about Nico's pick this week? I didn't fucking know, man. It's a found footage flick. We've seen a bunch of found footage flicks that are what I don't think Blair Witch is scary. She does. But that's, again, I wasn't really thinking about that. Because I showed her Hell House LLC, the first one, and she thought it was scary. But this one really got her. I don't think her night of sleep was very good on Sunday. I don't think it went super well for her that night as far as sleep goes. So the TV was on the whole night.
Dude, you got to order a mask and you got to like stand in the corner with her one day when she gets home. You got to do that.
I honestly think she would have a nope. I refuse. I think she would have a heart attack. I honestly think she'd have a heart attack. She's too anxious, has too much anxiety. Like, I think if I jumped out and scared her, it would – because I've accidentally done it when she's in the shower one time, and I thought she was going to punch me in the face.
Fun story. I did it with Heather. I scared her while she was in the shower one time, and it was literally delayed and like slow motion, just going rah, and she ripped down the shower curtain and pulled down the thing that was holding the shampoo bottles and all that shit. The whole thing fell down, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I thought she was about to break her neck. It was so bad.
That's hilarious.
I got that.
That's hilarious.
How was the couch that night, Brian?
Oh. That was years ago, but I'm sure it was not comfortable.
All right, read your scene by saying try not to stutter like some people on this show.
Hell House LLC Origins, Carmichael Manor. We open up documentary style with Bradley Moynihan, co-founder of Net Sleuths, telling us about the haunted history of the Carmichael Manor and how Catherine and Eleanor Carmichael were found dead in their beds one October morning. We also get some backstory on the family and how Patrick and Margaret were in a car crash and Margaret passed away as well. We also learn that filmmaker and paranormal investigators Margot Bentley and Rebecca Vickers were declared missing after visiting the manor. We hear a 911 call from their fourth night in the mansion, and we see clips from their found footage and get the title card. We are now inside the footage and see the two girls driving up to the mansion. They stop for lunch, and we learn that Margot is the other co-founder who started netsleuths.com, and that Rebecca is just kind of along for the ride and plans to do her work while Margot does her investigation. The two are romantically involved. They get to the house, and we meet Donald, played by a friend of the show, Michael Caproli. I wonder if he will become important in the franchise later on. I don't know. But we learn the girls are going to stay 5 nights in total, and the place has been vacant since 1989. We get a tour of the house from Daniel and learn the antique store has some of the old items from the hotel. Later that evening, we see Margot find the storage room containing the two clowns that we've known to recognize and love as Chase arrives himself.
Yeah, I'm starting off my notes just by giving a shout out to Terror Films. Really appreciate them. Mike, you're not wrong about Shudder being involved, but they also, these Hell House movies are also distributed by Terror Films. So shout out to them. They gave us a screener for Lineage, so I appreciate that. The Carmichael Manor looks nice from the outside, but hell no once you get inside this place. First of all, it looks like it's expensive to maintain, but add in the creepy clowns, I'm good. Bradley Moynihan, played by Darren F. Earl, and Alice Harper, played by Sierra Saka, both do a fine job in this opening of the documentary, if you ask me. And I don't mind this exposition dump whatsoever. To me, it's a fascinating story, and I love the difference and contrast between the present and the past. I laughed at Tom Wheeler's reaction hearing the spooky noises while filming. You know that brother was ready to scoot and skedaddle out of this place. I'm not the biggest fan of this, though, them revealing Margot and Rebecca are dead already. I mean, it's consistent with the franchise, but let me find out. I don't want to already know this. I do like how Bradley props up Margot and her dedication to the craft. Boots on the ground, getting her hands dirty. I respect that. Rebecca cracks me up bringing up eating while they're in the middle of nowhere. Like, why didn't y'all stop somewhere sooner? Like, you're in the middle of the woods. Shout out to Shane Walsh. I bet this little hole-in-the-wall diner is fire, though. Good call, diner guy. I wouldn't have gone inside the manor either. I don't mess with real haunted places or where people were murdered. I just don't have any desire to be there. I laughed at Margot shooting the bird at Rebecca. You know, she's looking at the map, has no phone signal. That's just a fun way to show her frustration without being too much of an asshole. Good to see a friend of the show, Michael Caprioli, as Donald, like Brian mentioned as well. Go check out our interview with him. He goes into great detail about the Carmichael Manor and lineage. And you can tell it's 2023, willing to stay at a spooky-ass house as long as there's reliable internet. We got to have that internet. Spoiler alert, hard to watch this opening with Donald now with the reveal he's been in on it from the beginning with Tully and Patrick Carmichael. Why, just spoiled the hell out of lineage if you haven't watched it and you're listening to this. Not sure if this is a goof or a lie, but how is the office 15 minutes away when the driveway itself is 12 miles through the woods, unless the office is somewhere on the property? I didn't get that. I appreciate that Margot wants to give her brother another chance after his struggles in life. These clown mannequins are so terrifying, and I stand by my opinion that they're some of the scariest in horror. Mike, this is my last thing. I thought it was a good opening. It was dialogue heavy, but I'm invested in the dialogue that they're telling me.
Yeah, I want to start my notes by giving a shout out to Taylor Swift because of the year 1989, baby. Let's go. I just want. Sorry, Nico tipped me off there. Anyway, like I mentioned, love the setup as a true crime doc here. Very timely of its time. That's all the rage and still is. And just interesting to see it as a work of fiction, right? Like a made up true crime case. I think that was very interesting and a really smart way to put something new into this franchise that's kind of been the same, at least with what I'm familiar. And already off the bat, I mentioned it in the group chat the other night, we have a reason for everything being recorded, okay? Like, I don't necessarily always like that she holds on or that somebody's holding on to the camera, but at least there's a justifiable reason. They kind of give it to you early here. She likes to record everything. Well, they hit it on the head because what's the one big, and we all know it, criticism of found footage movies is, well, that's not realistic because no one would still be recording every fucking thing you do. She is someone all the way to the end of her life, Brian, that is holding the camera up, and we know why now, okay? So at least they do some work to make it happen. Speaking of work, love the camera work in this movie. It's imperfect. It literally looks like someone that kind of knows how to work a camera but isn't great at it is shooting this whole thing. That's how it looks. It's bumpy. It's all over the place. It looks like it could even be done with a phone. Really, really like it. So I thought that was awesome. Pointing out that this bedroom was Catherine's, very important. And I think this bedroom is one of the creepier rooms in the house. Something about that wallpaper already set me off from the very beginning. I was like, oh no. I would not stay in this house. I'm just going to be honest with you. As someone who's not even really believing in this kind of stuff, just in case, I probably would not stay. Dude, you know what? I'll save it for the end because I feel like the whole thing can be avoided with one simple move, but I'll save it for later. Zero interest in the idea of going to an antique store that has items from the well-known haunted Abaddon Hotel. No thanks. What is wrong with this woman? Again, Margot putting your friends in danger over and over again, your loved ones in danger over and over again for your own selfish reasons. Just saying. She's not a great character to me, but I like the way she's portrayed. Listen, I like that they lay the groundwork here. Now, Nico, you mentioned it. She's giving Chase another chance, and I like that in her as well. But I also kind of like that they take that moment with Rebecca to let you know that Chase is not everyone's favorite, most reliable human in the past. And so I think that makes them dismiss Chase some of the way later in the movie when he's trying, especially Margot, trying to tell him that he feels uneasy and what he's seen and what he's heard. So he's an unreliable narrator, for lack of a better term, even though he's not the narrator. I like the way, and I like the exposition dumps that we get from the true crime people. Really good set of scenes. I'm hooked automatically. Also, last thing, Brian, then you can go, or Dustin, you can go, excuse me. No one super spooked by the clown that's just kind of standing there in that one. Like, they're like, oh, great, there's a clown here. I don't know. Maybe close that door. Don't go back in that room. By the way, if any movie should have quoted our fucking name of the show, it's this one, okay? It's this one. Go ahead.
So, no disrespect at all to Cognetti, but when this one started as a mockumentary / found footage, I immediately was encouraged because after watching his newest installment in this franchise, it just felt more right. But like I said on that instant reaction we did, I definitely give him props for showing that he's not a one-trick pony, but it's just this franchise feels like it should be mockumentary, found footage, etc. I don't know why, but I love that they call them Reddit conspiracies and not just internet conspiracies. Using a real platform like Reddit, using the name, it just gives it legitimacy. So I definitely like that. And then this movie, this one definitely has more of a true crime focused feel than the first film in the franchise or the latest film. And that's the only other two that I've seen. So it's not a negative, but I have been very vocal about how I feel about documentaries. I would rather read the stuff than listen to people draw it out for dramatic effect. So I'm on the fence early on here. But this is a pretty sweet house. I'm sure a joke has already been made about whose house it is, so I'll skip that. Hearing the family's backstory as they get the tour, that's a nice way to exposition dump and catch us up in a hurry. Seeing those darn clowns, man, so creepy. But this is a decent enough open, and I'm definitely invested.
But we open up with Chase arriving at the mansion and then learn that he and Margot are siblings. We also learn about Margot's past a little bit. When she was 10 years old, she was almost kidnapped at a county fair, one in which many girls had been kidnapped from over the years. This drove her and her college friend Bradley to found Net Sleuths and try to use the power of the internet to help solve the unsolved. Bum, bum, bum. Margot taking it a step further with staying at the locations. We get a Night 1 title card and hear a little bit more about the murders with Arthur and how he killed Catherine and Eleanor and then apparently took Patrick's body away, never to be seen again. Rebecca gets a call here, but cell service craps out, showing us that service is not going to be good out here. Just in case something happens. Rebecca tells Margot that this will be the last time that she will accompany her on one of her trips because of her new job. And we learn that Chase has a history with psychosis and was drawn to help Margot on the investigation after his latest psychotic episode. They're woken up in the middle of the night with some wind sounds, but nothing comes of it. And we move on to the next day where Rebecca films her putting on new sheets, not seeing the butchered corpse in the bed. We do through the cameras. Margot and Rebecca decide to go to the antique store and leave Chase there, and we cut to Margot exploring the storage room with the clowns. She goes through a chest and pauses while looking at some of the stuff, and we cut away. The girls leave, and we cut to Chase with the camera now. He explores a sound, finds a red ball in the hallway, and finds the clowns in the closet, in the storage room. What did you guys think?
Boy, ain't no way, boy. But real talk, the very scary finding out Margot was almost abducted at 10 years old. It's just a scary reality we live with, like, even in our own real world, like, it's terrifying. No clue how a 10-year-old girl could feel responsible for folks going missing at this fair, though I didn't understand that from the documentary. Yeah, no way I'm staying in a room where someone was killed. I'm heading to the couch ASAP, not staying there whatsoever. I'm not staying in the Carmichael Manor regardless. Like, I'll just drive over there. Like, fuck that. Margot is a fun character while also being overly obsessed with the crime. I appreciate her enthusiasm, but it is odd. Very spooky as Rebecca goes back into the foyer and we see that closet door is open when she goes to take that call. I thought that was a great subtle scare. I guarantee you at the end of this movie, Rebecca wishes she didn't come to the Carmichael Manor. I think Margot needs to respect Rebecca's point of view here. She's the only one making an income. Let this be her last adventure for a while. I mean, that just makes sense. Like, you can't keep doing this without money anyways. I like the brother-sister dynamic between Chase and Margot. It feels very authentic. Margot is the epitome of white people doing stupid shit in horror movies. Running to the scary singing instead of avoiding it. What the hell are you doing, Margot? Great scare here with Rebecca recording and Catherine's dead, bloody body being in bed. This is what I was talking about when I brought up how good Steven is with making these type of scares. It's like, it's nothing jump scary. It just something appears in the background that wasn't there. I think he's great at it. My man Chase is getting nagged at, and he's not even getting paid. This is outrageous work. I would love Dustin's commentary on this. I like that they show him not taking it all serious and playing around on camera as well, just having fun. This is the last thing I got, Mike. I would defecate myself if I were Chase and heard this bouncing sound and then saw a random red ball on the floor. Like I started my set of scenes off with, boy, no way, boy. Boy, no way.
Sorry if I have to stop and sneeze at some point, guys. I don't know, something's up with my allergies here. Goddamn South Carolina and this. I never had allergies in Florida, all right? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, not that, okay, so we get a little bit of backstory of why Margot is so invested in these cases and solving them, and why she became, quote, a net sleuth. And so, again, more exposition from the documentary interviewees like that. However, I'm not saying that what happened to her isn't terrible and scary, but I don't know if I I don't know if that was necessary to the character. I mean, yeah, they do a good job of laying out why she records and photographs everything, but I don't know if it needed that. Small nitpick, not really a big deal, but it makes it hard. Look, on the surface, I don't want to like Margot. Oh, to be honest, she puts her loved ones in harm's way like 9 times out of 10. So I don't know, just a little bit of a nitpick. I don't think it's a big deal. I will say, sitting around this table investigating this shit, this is how me and my friends used to solve conspiracies back in the day, man. I mean, we'd sit and solve 9/11, we'd sit and solve JFK, we'd sit and solve it all right there around a table just like these guys. So that was a nice little nostalgia feeling in my tum-tum there. Another nod to the camera work, because even though nothing is happening, they do a great job making it feel like anything can happen at any second. To me, that is the mark of a really good found footage movie, where I'm like waiting with bated breath on something to happen the whole time, and it has my interest. I feel like this camera crew does that really, really well. And again, like with all these movies, the silence, lack of background noise until there is a noise, that being its own character, it's well executed in this movie as well. Side note, Margot and Becca, toxic ass relationship, if you ask me. Starting to see it come apart at the seams right here. It kind of feels like Margot just wants to play around on the drums all day, and fucking Rebecca's trying to get some fucking money out here, man. All right, Margot, I know you like to do this, but you got to at least bring in some little bit of dough. You should monetize NetSleuth somehow. I don't know. Anyway, I will say, didn't just creep my wife out this movie. The wind noise scared the shit out of my 2 little dogs. They had no idea what was going on. They were in a dead sleep, and they woke up and looked around like somebody kicked them in the face. It was crazy how effective that was. And honestly, it was effective on me too. I thought, I don't like the way that sounds. I will say, her making the bed like a human being makes her very relatable. So shout out to Becca, because fitted sheets and folding those things really suck ass. I completely agree. Putting them on a bed, trying to find the right corner, could not agree more. And great shot, the selfie shot with Catherine bloody in the background, I thought was really well done. Really good jump scare moment, right? If you were not expecting it and it pops up out of nowhere, I thought that was really awesome. Again, maybe me and Nico differ here. I'm not that scared by the clown noses throughout the whole movie. Like, I'm not saying they don't effectively use them. I'm just like, it's a red rubber ball rolling on the ground, right? Like, I don't know. One of the less effective things in the movie, still well made. The clown nose made me go, that's kind of fun. The clown is fucking with these people. Chase, and we kind of talked about it in the last set of scenes, but just to reiterate, they let you know he had bouts of psychosis. And so he's kind of going through this, he's medicated and changing and everything. But again, it makes him a very unreliable point of view later on in the film. Last thing I have, which is Chase walking through the hall saying, "Say something." I thought it would have been really hilarious if this were a horror comedy for the ghost to go, "Something," back to Chase. Or you could have had the "Say something, I'm giving up on you." Also, I think it would have been funny. See, they should let me in on the Scary Movie 7, not 6, 7 writing room. That's all I'm saying.
Every time you say Margot's name, I think of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Why is the
Me
floor
too.
wet, Todd?
I don't know, Margot. Yeah. Yeah.
Cut back to the documentary part, and yeah, it kind of bored me. Like, it wasn't poorly done, so I'm not saying that. That's solely a personal thing. I just don't like documentaries. Thankfully, it doesn't last too long, and we get to night 1. It does slow down a bit for me at first after the switchback, but waking up because you hear a girl singing downstairs, that definitely creates solid tension. The bloody body on the bed behind Rebecca, that was crazy too. I mean, she just changed those sheets. That's so rude. The thing that does bother me about the found footage parts are all the filler being shown. Like, because if this is being presented as a documentary, on the documentary, they would only show us the creepy or interesting parts that are relevant to the story. So it does take it down a bit for me there. Like, I don't need to see Chase clowning around. Skip to the clowns around him. I felt like the story was too thin, so they kind of just used a lot of filler at times to stretch it and get that runtime they were looking for. This was a mixed bag of scenes for me.
All right, we open up scene 3 here with the two girls at the antique store where they find some things from the Abaddon Hotel after it has burned down. Spoiler alert, Mike. And Rebecca notices a grandfather clock from the hotel, and because it's German, knows it has secret compartments. They open it, find a cross pendant inside as well as an old film reel and some notes from the Carmichael. Back at the manor, the power is out, and Chase sees a woman wearing a mask. He freaks out, and the women arrive back at the hotel, or back at the manor. He tells them about what happened, and they review the footage, seeing what he saw. Back inside the documentary, we learn that Margot was after something that had eluded her for years, and the film canister they found inside that old clock was of the Carmichaels, with Margaret and Patrick in their last hours before the wreck, playing a prank on Catherine, turning out to be what we just saw live with Chase and revealing Margaret to be the masked woman. We get a Night 2 title card and some narrator dialogue telling us that it's about to get worse before we see footage from Rebecca's work call computer. Things immediately start cutting out and she must be using Skype. During a screen share, we start seeing pictures of the Carmichael as the pictures lead right to her. Boom, boom, boom. We get a scream and the feed cuts out. What'd you think?
What did I think? I thought that was funny as hell whenever you told Michael, spoiler alert, about the Abaddon burning down. I mean, they kind of mentioned it in this movie, but yeah, I mean, part three is a consensus least favorite. So, I mean, I think it's fine.
I did know the Abaddon burned down. I just didn't know what happened in the third movie. I didn't know that.
Fair enough. If I'm Chase, this is the end of this little adventure for me. First, the red ball, now seeing a masked person at the end of the hall. I'm out of their pal with a quickness. Even though I like this movie, I must critique the tense music as Chase explores that living room. This is found footage. This isn't happening. You don't get to add music afterwards. This isn't how it works. It's not how business is done. Ain't that right? I'm sorry. If you're Rebecca, how aren't you more horrified seeing what Chase had on camera? I'm leaving too. To hell with all this. I love the grainy look of the old home videos, and it was fun to see the Carmichaels just goofing around. I laughed at Rebecca's face hearing the song lyrics and Chase's reply saying, "That sounds like a fun nursery rhyme." I thought that was funny as hell. Another red ball in the hallway. I will say it again. I'm out. Rebecca and Chase say the sheets smell like an old sweater. That's the same thing that Sarah said about the smell of the Abaddon Hotel in the first Hell House movie. Chase urged caution first. Look at that, Dustin. The man got it right. We love to see it. This scene with Rebecca and Linda on the computer was so spooky on my first watch. Such an effective, creepy, scary scene. This is the last thing I got. The only thing that confuses me is how Linda gets mad at Rebecca like she did that on purpose. Like, I know she can see how fearful Rebecca is. Like, she has to know, like, something, like she has to know that it wasn't intentional. Like, something else is going on. But that's the last thing I got.
Yeah, so also, back to the last set, when Chase is walking up and down the hall saying, say something, it could have also been fucking podcaster guy handling Michael Myers' mask in 2018. Say something. Sorry, there was a lot of those. No, I did not fart. That was my chair. I apologize. So like I mentioned, look, man, to me, they even kind of pointed out in the true crime doc, right, where a lot of the events that happened in this movie could have possibly been avoided had they just not gone into the antique store. That's all I'm saying. So like we say on this show, don't go out there. Little convenient that, to me, small thing, little convenient that Becca knows about these clocks. You know about these old German clocks and how they work, and there's little compartments inside. I know they kind of explain it away, but okay, sure. Small thing, not a big deal. I just thought it was convenient. I like the Chase. Again, it's the first to experience the really creepy stuff, right? Partly because we've established his mental condition and what he's had or what he's been through in the past, and so he starts to show Margot everything, and I feel like she's still unsure. And if she's not unsure, she's staying there for her own gain and benefit. But again, little girl or whoever in the mask down at the end of the hall, ain't no way I'm not running the fuck out of there. That's the last time I step foot in Carmichael Manor. Go fuck yourself, Margot. I am not staying. I like the old family footage. I like its existence. I do. I don't always like it interjecting, but I like the back and forth enough. It's fine. And again, nitpick, but The old footage sometimes looks very digital with an Instagram filter over it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't mean I don't want it included. It's not that bad. It's just a small nitpick. I'm trying to find things I don't like to be fair and balanced because, I don't like to give 10 out of 10 BJs on this show, buddy. But what? Something I said? Okay.
It was the BJ thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, you've never seen Barney, BJ, the yellow guy? Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm done. All right. And again, it's made Chase a little more frantic, and the one to come to Rebecca and then kind of, confide in her like, hey, I think we should kind of, and you can almost see Rebecca not take him seriously in this scene. She's like, yeah, okay, Chase, I'll let her know, whatever, just kind of brushing him off. But then this scene happens where she's giving her presentation, and it's fucking awesome. This is one of my favorite scenes in the whole film to me. I love the as she's flipping through the pictures and it's getting closer and closer and closer behind her. And you start, as it starts to get just close enough, you notice, oh, fuck, that's behind her. That's awesome. What a cool, well-written shot, man. I love that. And, having it right next to her and having that all recorded. And then we get to see more of Margot's selfishness because of that. Love that as well, because I don't think I'm wrong. She has a lot of character flaws, in my opinion. Great tension, great way to end the set of scenes. Thought that scene was awesome.
What is this lady saying? If they hadn't wandered into the antique store, Buddy told them about it and told them there was Abaddon stuff here. That's not wandering. That's seeking with intent. It gets real creepy again when we cut back to Chase at the house, seeing a person creeping around a corner and then disappearing. Yeah, I'm out, dog. Nice to see you, sis. I'll see you at Thanksgiving. Bye. I like that the film roll had the Carmichaels on it. Good layering there. And I like how it showed Margaret hiding around the corner like how we saw Chase get scared. When the power went out, I fully expected a jump scare when it came back on. Thankfully, we didn't get it. I'm glad we didn't go that route. $230,000 for this dump that Rebecca is showing. It is a shame what's happened to the housing market. Good night. Bold move of Rebecca continuing to share a screen when there's pictures that she didn't take and she didn't know what was next. That was bold. But I would have left immediately when I realized that I was in the pictures. Like, no goodbye, do not pass go, do not collect $200, I'm out. This is decent stuff here. I like this set of scenes.
Well, as we start scene 4 here, Rebecca has had fucking enough and is ready to dip. We cut to later that afternoon and find out that she and Chase have agreed with Margot to stay one more night. And, by the way, that internet, it's out. It's night 3. And they have found a picture in that group from the Abaddon clock that shows the clowns and the exact game that is upstairs right now in the manor, connecting the Abaddon and the Carmichael. Just then, they hear the call button from upstairs in Patrick's room. Chase and Margot go to investigate, and find one of the clowns in Patrick's room. We cut back to Rebecca downstairs by herself, who has a ball rolled to her from a dark closet, and she herself decides geniusly to go investigate that as well. The other clown welcomes her in the only way that it can, and when Chase goes to investigate, it has moved. We then cut to later that night, and instead of leaving, we are having a conversation about Chase's last psychotic episode that feels, this is Brian talking, very out of place for what we just saw. But the convo does tie back into where we're seeing present time. Just seems weird cut right there. We see a cut in the middle of the night with Margot hearing the wind sounds again, claiming to have heard the shout and a thud in the hallway. We cut to the next morning and Chase is gone, missing, having left his possessions behind. We cut to his final recording, and my guy had a few drinky drinks and turns off the camera.
Yeah, I'm 100% on Rebecca's side here. She has every reason to be scared, and Margot has no right to answer for her that she's fine. The 2-1 vote goes to leave the Carmichael Manor, and they should have honored this and left. Fuck this place. I know she's scared, but Rebecca looks cozy as hell, wrapped in a blanket, warm drinking hands, sitting on the porch, looking at a beautiful view. Out of context, that sounds like a good night. I appreciate Chase doing his best to comfort Rebecca, even though I'm sure she wishes it wasn't being filmed right now. And now the call button is ringing? Nope. Another clear message for me to get the hell out of here. I will give Margot credit. She ain't scared to get her hands dirty like I mentioned earlier. She's right in the thick of all the scare. She's not making everybody else do it and not doing it herself. This horrifying clown in the room now is the straw that breaks this camel's back. Another effective scare, and I am so out of here. What makes this film so effective to me is how authentic it feels. You feel the fear that they're exuding. Come on, Rebecca, what are you doing, though? You know the other two are upstairs and a red ball rolls out towards you. Get the hell out of there, sis. Why are you going into the closet? Chase genuinely looks terrified, telling Margot about his encounter with the girl. I have to ask, was that a Carmichael haunting him before he even got there? Must be terrifying that Chase is gone. Either he had another episode or whatever is haunting this place got him, and neither of those options are good. Chase is a good character, and it sucks that he got for trying to help his sister. I don't think he should drink tonight, but I really can't blame him. I'd be scared too. And this is the last thing I got, Mike. Chase, you don't need to wait till the morning. Just get the hell out of there, man.
Yeah, so Margot's right about one thing. It is good that what happened to Rebecca is on film and recorded. I'll give her that, right? I mean, it's good to have it for the record, but still, you're putting the people that you're supposed to love and care about in harm's way the entire time. Now, they're not tied up and chained to her. They have the power to leave. I'm just saying she's a little manipulative in the way she handles it. That's all. Time to be honest here, and I already have mentioned it. Margot sucks, for all the reasons I said. So that's all I had. I will say, when she starts pulling these pics from the hotel, I would leave. Okay? Fuck you and the life that we built here, Margot. I'm out. Not worth it. I'll find someone else. You don't even bring any money to this equation, so I'm out. Peace. That would be my 2 cents for Rebecca. Great job using a lot of tension again with Chase and his camera. There's a second shot of walking upon the clown in the room, and that always works. Like, one thing about these movies that I've seen is if I walk into a room and this fucking clown is there, it works. They do a great job with the scary clown here. And shout out to the camera work, because it doesn't feel like I'm watching a movie when they move around the halls. It feels like I'm moving around the halls. Great stuff as far as found footage style movies go. I really like that. The line, I love you, right? Yeah, bitch. If you do, let's leave this place then. Don't you have everything you need? You have proof that this place is haunted. What more do you want? I know you want to solve this mystery, but I don't know, man. You saw a little girl in a mask on video. You saw her getting haunted next to, her presentation that she was giving. I don't know, man. I feel like that's a really good signal for everybody to get the fuck out of there. Like you mentioned, Nico, I don't need your permission. Let's go. I'm going to go. I'm going to leave. Again, just like the way they're telling this story, I really do. Instead of getting what happened to Chase in order, we're starting to peel back onions of what would make them not believe him until it's too late. They show him disappearing, right? So again, we peel back the onion, they show him disappearing, and then they show what happened. A lot like a true crime doc, right? They're not necessarily going in order. They're going in the order they want to tell the story narratively. So, again, I really like that.
Very selfish of Margot to just want to see the recording instead of consoling Rebecca. I always wondered, if lesbians have selfish tendencies like hetero women do. Turns out, yes, they do. That's very selfish. I legit think all these people deserve whatever happens to them. Every single one of them. Like, when the signs are there and you have an opportunity to leave, like nothing's forcing you, you don't have to wait on anything, you can leave, but you willingly stay, I lose all empathy and all sympathy. The clown upstairs, that's my last straw. The ball rolling to Rebecca would have had me making a Looney Tunes style hole in the door the way I'd run through it. Just pissed me off so much when Margot woke Rebecca up because she heard something. They should be miles away. They shouldn't be asleep. When Margot grabbed Chase's phone under the bed, yeah, okay, right. She didn't even look. She heard it ring and then just bent down, reached under without looking first, grabbed it immediately on the first try. Give me a break. How'd she know where it was? I'm losing patience with the characters and their dumb decisions, but the movie's fine thus far.
All right, we open up scene 5 with Chase turning back on the camera in the middle of the night, and someone is ding-dong ditching him. These crazy ghosties. He investigates the hallway, and I guess they stopped because he goes back to bed. We see him wake up again, though, and he tells the camera that someone has opened his door. But my guy is just still laying there. When he turns the light on, unfortunately, it's not the blowjob ghost from Ghostbusters. No, unfortunately for him, he sees one of the members of the insane clown posse there instead. Instead of immediately dipping, he just sits there, paralyzed with fear, slowly walks out of the room. He's followed, and it ends about as you'd expect. We then cut back to the 1989 footage where we see Catherine in Patrick's room with the same three ICP band members. She sees Margaret's death dress in his room, and we hear Patty Pat here make references to bringing Margaret back from the dead. She gives him the same cross pendant to protect him that we found in the clock in the future. We cut to later with Patrick out of the room. Catherine goes looking through the chest, finding sheet music that she decides to play. And yeah, it's the creepiest music imaginable. That was my Owen Wilson voice. Back in the present day, we are still looking for Chase and Rebecca, who wants to dip. She finally agrees to wait till 2 p.m. for Margot's brother, but that's it. No later. Speaking of not later, we then cut back to the narrator and learn some more about Andrew Tully and how he joined Thomas Rollins and Freddie Perkins in the carnival game stand. We find out that three of them form a cult and opened up the Abaddon, where they hired Patrick Carmichael. Cutting back to Rebecca and Margot, it's now 4 p.m. and the girls are leaving. Not so fast, my friend. The car won't start. They decided to hoof it, and we see an overhead shot of the woods, basically telling us, yeah, these chicks ain't walking back. And the next set of scenes is the ending.
All right, this is a weird question for me to ask, but we see Chase wake up in the middle of the night. First off, who sleeps with a shirt on? Weirdo. Like, be a man. Take your damn shirt off. If I'm him, I immediately run to Margot's room and say, we must get the hell out of here. Like, I would be beyond spooked. Something's knocking on my door and nothing's there repeatedly. Nah, let's go. I laughed. This place is absolutely fucked. Yeah, you think, Chase? I would have been going after the hallway incident. I'm shitting myself now. If I'm him, the clown is in my room. Hell no. And it's the creepiest clown of them all. My dog went into I'm sorry and trying to compromise mode real quick. Chase, you need to run. This clown is actively following you. You just keep walking down the hall slow as hell. Very spooky for Patrick to have Margaret's bloody dress she had on when she died. Like, if I'm Catherine, I'm terrified seeing this. The shift in Patrick is very noticeable and very haunting. Another great, simple, effective scare with the clown's reflection appearing in the mirror. I don't know how that would have been edited like that, but it was still creepy. This is the origin of the haunting piano score we've gotten since the beginning of the franchise, and the lyrics add just that much more terror to it. And great question. Jesus, Pat, where do you work? Yeah, go ask him. Like, what the hell's going on? I continue to agree with Rebecca. We have to go now. Get to town, contact authorities. They can go find Chase. There's too much spooky stuff going on for me to be here. And I'll say it again. I like this movie, but oh my goodness, this story is quite convoluted. There's too many moving pieces and stories to remember for a simple found footage franchise, in my opinion. And Lineage makes it even worse. Spoiler alert again. Of course, the car doesn't want to crank. I'd be crashing out too if I was Rebecca. And I laughed my ass off at her saying, I don't know, I'm not a goddamn mechanic. Like, that was funny as hell. Two shit options: stay another night at the haunted manor or walk 12 to 15 miles and hope to God you make it to the main road in time. Last thing, been a spooky ride, but I'm ready for the ending.
Yeah, one thing that sucks is that Margot won't ever get to see this footage that Chase is taking because, spoiler alert, they already let us know she fucking dies. It's just like Titanic. There's your one Titanic reference a week where we already know the ending at the very beginning. Hey, I got to get one in a week, pal. Come on. But again, she's also partly to blame for what happens to Chase. Just saying. I have to do it because it's only fair because I've hyped them up for the most part, at least giving us a reason why everything's recorded. When Chase is being chased here, for lack of a better term, by this clown, drop the fucking camera and run, dude. Fuck Margot's, quote, footage. She doesn't need it. She has enough. But anyway, I'm running. That's my point. So I actually like this throwback footage better. Patrick in the dress, super creepy. And like you mentioned, you can start to see the decline in his eyes, for lack of a better term. I think adds a ton there. It does make it a little complicated, right? Like you mentioned, where we're layering in a lot of stuff. I feel like a couple callbacks to the old footage would have worked, maybe spliced in with some exposition from the documentary people. That would be where I would end it, but it does just make it a little complicated is all. Catherine playing this really creepy song. I know it's the song we get throughout the franchise, but I don't remember ever hearing it with lyrics again in the movie, right? So it's just this one time so far. I think it's really creepy. I would definitely go back to that same recording of it. I thought that was added a ton. This is probably my least favorite set of scenes, though. Like you mentioned, Nico, I am ready to kind of see the payoff, which I love the next set of scenes. So, totally fine to kind of bring me down to pick me back up. Last thing I actually have, though, here, this whole thing could have been avoided. Am I wrong? If they just stayed in their locked car overnight, right? Would that not have maybe been the best foot forward? I know they go walking in the daytime and they run into stuff, but I feel like staying in the car until morning, using the Wi-Fi, calling the police and getting the fuck out of there probably would be the best. But they go outside, back in the house, outside. Just stay in the car, lock the doors, make those creepy clowns come to you. Don't go to them, right? Anyway, that's all I have.
Chase being scared when he wakes up and sees the clown in his room isn't enough. That his reaction wasn't enough for me. He laid there for way too long. Run, dummy. Forget your bag. Just go. And then him getting out of bed and having to walk past the stupid thing, that was also stupid. A bed has two sides to it, and neither one of them's up against the wall. Get out of bed on the side that's closest to the door and run. Don't walk. And he's whimpering like a little girl. Jesus. And then the archive footage. Bring her back. Hasn't this guy seen Pet Sematary? No, you don't want to bring her back. Then that song on the keyboard. I don't think it could have been any more creepy or ominous. Don't be singing and playing that song, woman. It's just nothing good can come from it. I get Margot not wanting to leave without Chase, but if I'm Rebecca, I'm telling her we should have already been gone, and then I'm leaving without the both of them. When they finally decide to leave, the car won't start. Shoot. Guess we're walking. Bye. I don't care about 12 miles through the woods. I'm not stepping foot inside that hell house ever again. But I know one thing. I'd be pissed at Margot. She gave her a 2 p.m. cutoff, and they waited an additional 2 hours. That's just wasted time now that you know you have to walk. I'm ready for the ending.
Well, the Wi-Fi was down. I do remember that. But, would the cult members have got him? I don't know. But here we go with the last set of scenes. We open up in the woods as the girls do not seem to be making good time, and Rebecca looks pissed. Well, she's about to get more pissed because there be cult members in these woods. Where's Marty and Rusty when you need them? The two flee back to the manor, being chased by the Blair Witch on the way, and back at the McAllister's house, that's a Home Alone reference, Nico, or Mike's house, whichever one you want to say. The two get some text messages from Chase's phone. He's just next door, and he wants to come on over to their room. Well, the girls flee back to the car, and we cut back to the old 1989 footage where Catherine sees Patrick come back from jail and explains to him about the mass suicide at the Abaddon. She sees the ghost of Margaret, and we cut back to the narrator who tells us the cult practices in the basement of the Abaddon was causing dark energy to be released everywhere in the area, and that was the last night Catherine would be alive. We see Catherine panicking as she sees a hooded figure in her house and hides in the closet where she screams, and we see glances of zombie Margaret, and the camera cuts off. Back in the car, the girls are now surrounded by cult members and flee once again back into the mansion. Margot hears Chase calling for her and leaves Rebecca, who is attacked by Catherine's ghost. Margot finds Chase dead in his chair with his eyes removed before being stalked by the clown, who corners her. We cut back to the old footage, and Patrick is revealed as the clown and the one who tried to abduct Margot as a child. In the final scene, Patrick apologizes to a camera before yelling at someone to be quiet, departing through a doorway into a red-tinted room, implying to be the gate to hell as seen in the previous movies. A mid-credit scene features Alice, the narrator, mentioning that the fair is coming in town, and in the background, an image of a clown peeks through the window.
Bum bum. This is the most I got on a set of scenes, so just bear with me. I love how scary this walk through the woods is, and it being in the broad daylight. I know that scary movies, horror movies, put emphasis on nighttime, but you can be scared as hell in the daytime as well, and this one would get me. These cloaked figures are so damn scary. Good review talk, I know, but they just grew in numbers out of nowhere. We hear screaming, and they're chasing. All caps, hell no. If I'm Rebecca, I'm ready to snap on Margot until I see that she finally breaks down in tears herself. I know that it's serious now when she breaks down emotionally and is vulnerable. Margot is so gullible about to run to see if Chase is in his room and not actively looking for them. Like, come on, give me a break. If I'm these ladies, this knock at the door has me beyond terrified. I know I kind of keep saying the same things, but I really appreciate how simple and effective the tension and scares have been throughout the film. Rebecca's angst and fear as the door opens on its own is so guttural. That fear came from deep within her. Rebecca is real as hell, dropping the camera and just running outside. I kind of thought this as well, but hiding in the car was my first idea. But now you're kind of like a sitting duck as well, too, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. There were no footprints in the snow because the devil did it, by God. Poor Catherine. Excellent portrayal of fear by her actress, Caleb. I don't even know why I put her last name because it's hard as hell to pronounce. Barajikian, I'm going to assume. God forgive me if I pronounce that wrong. Speaking of portraying fear well, Rebecca is acting like the rents do for this low-budget indie horror. Big props to her actress as well, Destiny Lilani Brown. Going to try and get her on the show as well. I feel so bad for Rebecca seeing that lady demon of Catherine in the bed, then getting caught by her. Fuck, that's scary, man. The effects of Chase's eyes bleeding out all over his shirt, I thought that was really well done and horrifying. I thought it looked really good considering this is a low-budget horror movie. Margot acts her butt off as well. She portrays her fear very effectively as well. They saved the big guns for her, the black and white clown and the gates of hell opening for her. Damn. Evil never dies. But it does die tonight, according to Tommy Doyle. I like this ending monologue by Bradley recalling all the scenes affected by the Abaddon or the Carmichael Manor. Nice reveal that the black and white clown was watching Margot from the beginning at the fair, and it was Patrick the whole time. I like that a lot. And that's the last thing I got, Mike. It's a nice reveal that Patrick Carmichael, is that black and white clown all along and was seemingly strong-armed into joining Tully. Like he mentioned, we all worship him in certain ways. I thought that was a really nice finishing move. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And this is time number 2 that I'm going to say this to these women. Don't go out there, okay? Very simple, very simple. Would have stayed put in the car. These guys totally redeem themselves in this set of scenes because I think they do a great job. Them walking around, even though I'm not a particularly big fan of stuff happening in daylight that often, this is well done. Them walking that slow pace annoyed the piss out of me. Like, speed it up, ladies. And I don't know where you're going, but let's get some move on it. Let's get some hustle in there. And then they run into these crosses, or in the words of Jim Ross, who couldn't call it a cross. Brian, you know the one that's, well, I guess you both know the one they put Steve Austin up on it. It's not a cross. It's a symbol. It's a symbol. It's not a cross. It's not a cross. God damn it. Anyway, but they walk up on these crosses, super creepy. Would have turned around immediately myself because that's not normal. That's out of the ordinary. And then get these Blair Witchy looking things, right? Just again, super creepy. This cult group or whatever, to turn around and have to go back to the house you left because you were freaked out because it's somehow safer is wild. Again, stay in the car, see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Huh? If you had locked yourself in the car, what's the absolute worst that could have happened is all I'm saying. Because they didn't come and get them in the house, right? So just go and lock yourself in the car. Anyway, why did you text Chase? Again, Margot, I know like you're trying to find your brother and stuff, but like this whole thing you're doing is selfish. Like sometimes, again, I'm going to quote Gary Bertier, you got to cut a man loose, This is a really good use of the old footage with Patrick. Incredibly creepy, and we're starting to get the backstory for these clowns, right? And so, again, as convoluted as it got, this is a good way to kind of tie it all together. I like that. And unlike a long slasher chase scene, us following Becca and Margot around is really creepy. My adrenaline was high. It's very tense. The only light in the house on, which is the opposite of the Trace Atkins classic, is in this bedroom. Super effective. Love the way they did that. Shout out to Trace Atkins. Great song. Now, look, I hate that Margot now acts like everything is too real and too much because she saw Chase with his eyes out. Now we got to get out of here. Now I have to beg these clowns for forgiveness. Like, congratulations. In the words of Gorilla Zoe, you did this to yourself. Now you're all by yourself. All right? That's what ended up happening here. And shout out to her, though. She's a real one. Because she filmed it all the way up to the end of her death, bro. She did not let that fucking camera down. She was a ride or die, Jackie Kennedy style, man. I got to give her credit. The clown being in the back of in the back at the fair when she's a kid was a great touch. again, tying everything together, knowing that Patrick is now one of these clowns. Creepy shot of him looking back at the camera and then facing out again. Love the way that looked. God, that was great. And I like this monologue as well. I think it works. Evil never dies, even though evil dies tonight. Yeah.
Great movie.
But yeah. Hey, Halloween Kills is good. I like Halloween Kills. Just, night. We're going to go night-night. Going to put you to sleep. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Shut your ass up, Tommy. You let a crippled-ass old man beat your ass with a bat. Anyway, no, I thought this was a really great ending. The pits of hell, like the fire, everything, really, really good. Definitely the best Hell House movie, in my opinion, that I've seen so far.
Yeah, when the woman in the yard showed up under that carport and then multiplied, there's two of them, I'm definitely running. But not back to the Hell House. What are these morons thinking? Margot blowing up and screaming, I didn't know I was bringing here against your will. Sorry. Maybe if she'd paid attention to Rebecca, she would know what she actually wants. That's just like a woman. Dismiss the feelings and wants of her partner and be selfish. And then afterwards, what? What? They're not safe in this house? Creepy stuff happens? Who would have thought? Oh, brother. We cut back to the archive footage, and it's very creepy and very well done, but then going back to the documentary style scene, it just took me out again. The cut back to Margot and Rebecca in the car presents as if they had been sleeping. What kind of sociopath would be able to sleep at a time like this? I felt like Alan in The Hangover. Pants at a time like this? I guess I don't have any. It's a frantic ending sequence here with a lot of spooky imagery, good tension. That'll get the pulse elevated. So, yeah, it's decent.
Absolutely. All right, let's jump into our social media comments and questions. I'll knock out Instagram. Dana Tucker commented, the only Hell House that scared the bejesus out of me. Hey, I feel you on that, sis. That shit's scary. We have any social media on X? I don't think we have anything on Facebook either. No. Nothing on the old Blue Skies.
Andrew Ferguson on X said just as creepy, if not creepier than the original. It was a nice expansion to the universe, and I'm glad I found out the caretaker wasn't so innocent. Awesome.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Spoiler alert, Mike. Fun fact here. There's a grandfather clock that plays a large role in this movie, and in the lore, obviously it originated from the Abaddon. The clock is visible in the hotel during the first 3 Hell House movies. In an interview for Carmichael Manor, Stephen Cognetti said that he personally drove to the actual haunted house attraction in Layton, Pennsylvania, where the Hell House LLC movies were filmed, to retrieve the clock for filming this movie. To this day, there is still an active haunted house attraction in Layton called The Haunting at the Waldorf Hotel. Cognetti borrowed the clock for a week while shooting Carmichael Manor.
But this was filmed at Fern Hall Estate, a historic mansion located on over 100 acres of idyllic countryside. This property is in Clifford, Pennsylvania. It was built in 1916 by the Johnson family of the pharmaceutical company Johnson & Johnson. It was once an inn and is now an Airbnb. And then the other one I've got, Destiny Leilani Brown, who played Rebecca, was in 12 to Midnight with friend of the show Sadie Katz. Interview at don'tgooutthere.com. Who was in Clown Fear with Gianni Capaldi, who was in 2025's Western, The Unholy Trinity, with Samuel L. Jackson, Pierce Brosnan, and David Arquette.
And can I just say, I'm not saying this because you guys mess with me about Cloverfield, but, a lot of people say, like, oh, I don't like the reason for them filming it, or they need a reason for filming it. But, like, isn't everybody's reason for filming that they just simply wanted to? Like, I mean,
fair enough.
Like,
it is now for sure. Like, I think that's a great answer in 2025 because everybody fucking films everything. But in 1998, I don't know about that. For Blair Witch, we have to hold this job. Bro, motherfuckers are out in the woods like this. With come on, dog. Goddamn, JV. Don't tell me they were walking around with a JVC on their shoulder filming fucking everything. Come on, man.
That reminds me of The Conjuring 2 when Ed gets that fucking camera. He's like, they're so light now, but things used. I don't think there's a budget, is there? I don't know if Terror Films.
No, there was no budget released. However, based off of other movies that Shudder makes in terror films, anywhere from 100 to 400,000 is the estimated budget. Hell House, the original, only had $25,000. So I do remember that.
It's crazy.
They do use all practical effects, yes?
I'm not sure. I can't find anything online about that.
I mean, I'm sure they do with only that much money.
That's what apparently Cognetti says in a different interview. Not our interview, but a different interview. Cognetti mentions that. That's all we asked.
Yeah, because we interviewed him before Carmichael Manor came out, I think. Or maybe right after it.
He was promoting Carmichael Manor, I think. That's right. We interviewed him.
Yep. All right, guys, jump to our favorite kill, least favorite kill, and the rating. I'm going to kick us off tonight. My favorite kill, I'm going to go with Chase just because you see the blood running from his eyes. Least favorite kill, I'm going to go with Rebecca because we don't really see anything, and I like Rebecca. I like this movie quite a bit. The only qualms I really have with it is just I mentioned this in our lineage reaction as well. The story just gets kind of convoluted. You can kind of easily forget what the hell is going on. We keep adding new characters like Patrick Carmichael, blah, 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 which is fine, but then you got to remember Andrew Tully, then you got to remember this other guy, and they were in Arkansas, and now they're in West Virginia, and now they're up here in New York. Like they're bouncing around doing some things like Jimbo. But the scares are effective. The cast is really good. I like the documentary stuff, like telling us this new wrinkle with the Abaddon Hotel. Now we're at the Carmichael. I really enjoy that though. I give the movie an 8.
Yeah, I didn't really have a favorite kill, least favorite kill, but I'll go ahead and give my final thoughts here. I think it's okay. For 1 hour and 38-minute runtime, I do feel like they stretched it pretty thin at times, and it had some filler, like more than it should have. Character decisions were beyond frustrating, but I didn't hate it. It had decent tension and scares, and those clowns continue to be some of the creepier antagonists we've covered. Overall, I gave it a 5.5.
Yeah, Nico, the first time that I watched this series all the way through, I agree with you. I was a little bit like, what the fuck? Like, who's this? What's this guy's name? But now when we're going back and we're reviewing them and doing it, like for some reason, like Carmichael Manor, like this time, this was my second time watching it. And oh my God, like I felt like it was a totally different movie. You like really can process the names and what the story is. So it almost takes a couple of watches for all the movies to get everything, in my opinion.
My favorite kill is Chase as well because we actually see it, right? I don't really have a least favorite kill. This movie is more about the mood and atmosphere that it captures more than it is the kills, even though I do like a movie with great kills. So all in all, I thought that this is definitely the best Hell House movie. I really, really liked it. Kept me entertained the whole time, captivated. The camera work is great. Sound is great. They capture, again, the mood and atmosphere that I really want from a damn good found footage film. Like, this is exactly what you can do within that genre to make it work. A reason for everything being filmed. Good, interesting characters, good dynamics, and scary-ass fucking clowns. Again, you can't really ask for a whole lot more. And I was a bigger fan of the original than you guys were. So I like the lineage. Well, sorry, that's a play on the movie name. But I do like the lineage of these movies. I need to go back and watch the second one because I have a feeling I'm going to either be upset or maybe more intrigued just because of this movie, right? Like, I hadn't seen this. Now I've seen this. And I kind of want to revisit number 2 and see if that will help kind of piece it together, like you mentioned, Brian, kind of go back and kind of
it does.
Dots. Anyway, I'm fucking rambling. All in all, really good shit. Love this movie. I gave it an 8.5.
Nice. Okay. We're going to have a good little score here. I was just going to give you a heads up. I didn't pick a favorite kill and least favorite kill. You couldn't really see any of them, to be honest with you. You only saw the aftermath of Chase. But a couple of things like the out-of-place conversation with Chase right after, as Owen Wilson would say in Armageddon, scariest environment imaginable. The night of his disappearance and some dumb character decisions I thought kept this from getting a 10 from me. But I really did love it. Again, also my favorite in the franchise, and I gave it a flat 9.
Hell yeah, let's go. I'll take that.
Let's go, boys.
All right, so that gives us a composite score of a 7.75. IMDb has it at a 6.2, Letterboxd 3.1, so we're a little higher than those. Not me, I did my part. And Rotten Tomatoes, 88% of critics gave it a favorable review. So, and I think, 5.5, I would lean favorable on mine. So all of us gave it favorable reviews here.
It's a good rating.
Let's go, boys. Oh, sorry.
Hey, great song.
Shania Twain.
That's right, buddy.
Any final thoughts? Ready to shout out our blood donors? All righty, and Dustin can announce his pick as well. Blood donors, really appreciate y'all. Take a huge burden off of us. The Camper Level Reoccurring Horror Movie Crew Podcast, Michelle Mirza, Steve Schmidt, Matt from the UK, and Anthony Andrews. Camp Counselor Reoccurring, Edwin Hernandez Gunn, Joe Swinford, Adrian Aiello, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Brooke Maley, Heather Superdoc, Jennifer Davis from the Too Close to Home Pod, Dana Tucker, Cole McAlexander, Max K, Madison Arzola, and Casey Smith. Really appreciate y'all. Take a huge burden off of us. I'm going to give away something to our blood donors. I got a couple Art the Clown Terrifier things from 13X Studios, little action figure I'm going to give away. Trying to downsize my collection. I figured y'all would be the perfect people to give that stuff to. Dustin, go ahead and announce your pick.
Yeah, for my next pick, I went with the movie that, honestly, I've wanted to pick for a long time, but I debated whether I should because IMDb does not list it as a horror movie. But the more I think about it, I mean, it's got enough horror elements. We've definitely done movies that have less horror elements than this one. And I went with the movie that, number one, I think is hilarious. Like, it cracks me up. And number two, not enough people have seen it. And I know that you three haven't seen it. So I picked 2012's The Watch with Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, Jonah Hill. I mean, it's a movie that I saw when it first came out. And I think it got unfairly criticized by critics. And the fans that don't like it, or the audience members that don't like it, they just don't know ball. I'm excited for you guys to watch it.
All right, we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Fuck Gavin Addick. Jason X.
I say no Jason X. What did you say before that?
Fuck Gavin Addick. Fuck Gavin Addick and Jason X.
Who's Gavin Addick?
I don't know who that is, brother.
He's a guy that ran away from Zach Bryan like a pussy. Let's go. That
I thought his name was Gavin Adcock. That's why I was like, who the hell is that?
One of those.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, take care of yourself.
Just want to remind everybody,